Who said you can't go home? Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate. Real Estate Exposed is all about helping homeowners and those who would like to be homeowners and those who would like to get into real estate.
Good morning, everyone. We are here, Real Estate Exposed. We are a podcast. We've recreated the vodcast thing. My name's Vandana and I'm the corporate broker of Signature Real Estate Group, and this is Shelly Panzarella, branch manager for Prosperity Lending.
Yay!
Did you think I forgot?
No, I was like, what is she going to call me today? What is she going to call me?
And we're missing Brandon. I don't know why we're so far
Man
apart.
down.
I know why we're so far apart, because you went out of town.
Like a month ago.
No, it hasn't quite been 2 weeks yet. I feel like it's almost there. It hasn't quite been 2 weeks. We're almost there.
Okay.
Monday.
So you'll start to call me and
Monday, you and I can start making out again.
Oh, yummy. Exposed.
Exactly. So Brandon's missing today. Our incoming president-elect is super busy with his president-elect duties or something like that.
So is this shit going to happen? Is this going to happen all the time now? Like he's just going to be...
Did you say shit?
It's too early, right? It's too early to scare
I don't know what's in your cup, but...
Exactly.
I'm okay with it.
Is this going to be how like our life is going to look like? We're just going to have to...
So we've talked about this because usually once a month they'll have meetings on Thursdays. So I was like, if our show's on Thursdays, we need to fix this, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to once a month not have you on the show. That would be silly. Although, I mean, let's see how today goes. And maybe we don't need him.
Well, the other option was to go dark, right? But we can't do that because our fans need us.
Our fans.
Our two fans. How many do we have on there, Beta? One view today? One viewer?
Or two. Well, we also started a little early today because
yes.
Originally that's what Brandon needed.
Yes, so we rescheduled our whole schedule for today for Brandon. And he's still not here.
We'll just keep asking him questions.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Brandon? Do you think that was jacked up? I mean, just saying.
All right, so should we talk about...
Stats?
Stats, yes, let's do stats. My mouse stopped working. I don't know what happened.
Is that because you've got the Invisaligns or what's...
My mouse.
Oh, hold on. It's too early. I can't hear very
well. My mouse.
Got it.
Stopped working. I don't know what happened to it. I charged it last night, and it's...
So a lot of people are going to say it's an HP because I got one of them, and I have that same issue. So we don't have stats. I have this. I don't know. Chris printed this out for us, and there's a lot of information.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're welcome.
Are the stats on here?
No. I mean, that is a document where stats get done every single month. So we have access to that. The problem with the stats from there is that they're monthly, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't give you real time what's actually happening right now. Like I can tell you that we've got about 938 listings that popped on the market in the last 7 days. That's not going to tell you that. That's going to be month to month, and and so we've been lucky though, because through applied analysis we have access to that data, whereas before we would have to ask the title companies for it.
Do you remember he used to be like we used to pack ourselves in to see him speak at those crystal ball events, and so to have this this is part of your membership dues, right?
Yes.
The information is amazing, and it's great information.
Yep. Nope, I agree. So we had a couple of weeks ago, we had a gentleman on that did, for the flipping homes and stuff, Casey Ryan. By the way, did you finally watch that
Casey,
show?
I did. Let me just say, I mean, I'm not going to try to get
Casey Ryan.
my replacement in here, but that was actually probably one of our best shows. I listened to it. Yes, took a lot of notes. I think I'm going to be a newborn flipper thanks to that show. So we'll see. I mean, a mobile home is like $30,000. I could try to figure out how to flip that. But no, a lot of great information on how he figured out the ROI like in a second, right? That calculation was.
I mean, we had to go back. Both Valerie and I were like, wait, what did you just do?
Yeah, carry the one and then what?
There's no carry one anymore. You don't carry the one anymore.
Yes, the intuitive training. But if you did not see that show, I would go back. It's called the Coronials. Is that what you guys are calling?
Coronials.
Coronials.
The Coronials, yeah.
Because you guys were predicting how many babies were going to be born because of
coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
So not the millennials, but the coronials.
Yes. Yeah. Took me a minute.
So one of the things that he said was, I don't even look at the data that's outside of Las Vegas. Like, I don't bother with Boulder. I don't bother with Pahrump. I don't bother with, right? Which when we actually do, and he pulls out manufactured homes because it's not relevant to him. But when we do our stats here, we do everything, right?
Yeah.
We do whatever is available. And it just occurred to me, we have an agent in our office that actually has listings from Hawaii that she's putting into the MLS, and those would show up under the 000 code in our MLS because we're the 11th island, 9th island.
Really?
11th island? 9th island.
Yeah.
And so, because there's only 8 in actual
Correct.
Hawaii.
I was born on one of them. Yes, I always say the 9th.
Okay.
Unless some have come to fruition because of water, global warming, I'm not sure.
Right.
Betty, can you check the facts on that for us, please? Just kidding.
Yeah, can you check facts on that? There might be 11 island. We might be the 11th island.
Exactly.
9th island. But anyway, so he pulls out all that information. The other thing I noticed is that there are actually, when you put in the 000 code in our MLS, you can actually, there is a lady in town that posts properties from Utah in our local MLS. And so our local MLS allows it as long as there's some form of connection or cooperation between Utah and us within the offices that actually hold that listing. So I'm working on an agent in our office that wants to do this for Hawaii. And so knowing that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Let's pull all that information out. We're still on stats, by the way. That we're on the stats section.
I'm still mesmerized by how Hawaii. So the property is in Hawaii that they're listing. So the agent is here in Las Vegas.
Correct. And so what we do is we offer a referral fee on it
Cool, yeah.
in case somebody here wants to look up property in Hawaii. Now,
Interesting.
because we are the 9th island, but we have a lot of people from Hawaii that come here, so maybe they're looking, right? So that's the idea. Anyways, so I pulled out all of that information for the stats, right? So I'm only going from like the main, what did I put in here? I don't know, it doesn't say. But anyway, so I did it for like the main Las Vegas, Henderson, City of North Las Vegas, only those sections, not including Pahrump. Even though when we talked about in that show, like there's a lot of homes in Pahrump. Pahrump's, going to be another style of, another little area where Vegas will be referred to, will go out that far.
Like
right?
it'll be a Henderson, you think?
Maybe.
Or like a Southern Highlands?
I mean, if you think about it, those people who live in Nellis, you're right. That
Yeah.
for them it might be. I don't know. Like it's a pretty big drive to get to, Southwest for them, or from Northwest Las Vegas to get to Henderson, or even that Hendertucky. Remember those homes that we talked about from a couple of shows ago? Mm-hmm. Right. That's going to take some time for somebody. So it'd be similar. I mean, if you get to Pahrump, only takes you 40 minutes to get over the hump. Yeah. Have
What
you been
hump?
there?
I have. It took me an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, you also drive slow. So going back to stats.
Okay, start.
So
yeah, stats.
Based off of, pulling out the manufactured properties, so only looking at single family townhomes or condos, we have a total of 6,366 listings. So that's the number I think that we're going to start looking at.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
I'm fine. What were we at last week so that we have a new basis line or baseline?
I don't know what it was last week, because remember last week we only talked about it really quickly and very fast because we had Haiti on, or Heidi.
Heidi. Yeah, oh, that's right. Yes.
And so we didn't really talk about it a ton during that show. But let me pull the sold properties in the last, not even the last 7 days, just overall sold. And we have, I screwed that up. Hold on. I screwed that up, so give me a second. Yep, totally screwed that up. So we have, and just overall sold within the last year, right? We're looking at a total of, come on. Give me, see, I can't do it because I have the
You under pressure?
18,455. I mean, no, it's our show. We can talk about whatever the heck we want. So you're right. I'm not under any pressure at all.
Yeah. Brandon's not here to judge us, so.
Yeah. But we're judging him.
Exactly.
All right. So last 7 days, we've had 850 homes that have actually sold. 853 homes is from the moment that I clicked. So random. So 853 homes that have sold in the last 7 days, and of those, highest priced is
1.5 million.
Nope.
Higher?
I know you got last week. Remember I screwed you up?
Yeah.
Yeah, higher.
Higher. All right.
Oh,
I was going to say 3.2, but go ahead.
4,550,000. And that took 712 days.
712 days. Like, what is that
Yep.
math on years? That's a long
Math on
time.
years.
Yeah, it's
So
like 2
if you
years,
have
right?
Yeah. How many days are in a year?
700. Well, I got to do my
No. How many days are in a
365.
year? Right.
Yeah.
Are there? Yeah.
So 1.97 years. Just under 2 years.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yep.
But a $4 million, I mean,
4.5.
4.5
It was actually
million.
listed at 4.750, 11,000 square feet. And I know what your next question is going to
yes, please tell me. Where is it located?
be. It is located McDonald Highlands.
Really?
I want to go look at that house. Do you remember when we did a tour from Aria? Remember when
Yes.
we were on the? Do you?
Yeah,
Or-
well, we did the
and when I say-
Ascaya, and then we did Dragon
Yes.
Ridge. Yeah.
No, we did McDonald.
McDonald Highland. Is
yeah.
it?
We did the home of what are they called? The $1 Million Homes or whatever. There was a whole tour
Yeah,
on them.
it was called the Street, wasn't it like
Street of Dreams, yeah.
Street
Yeah.
of Dreams, right. Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
Oh my God, those homes, amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. When are we going to do that again? When
I
are we
don't
gonna
know.
Do anything again?
We have to sign up for one of those trade organizations. You mean go preview a house or?
Yeah, let's go preview some houses. I think we should just go look at a couple of.
That sounds like
$4
fun,
million houses.
actually.
I think it's yeah, just for funsies.
Can
I'm
you
sure
do
the-
that? Just
I'm sure
go
the
in?
sellers would love that.
I can create a pre-approval letter if you need it, just to get into the house.
Okay, we don't actually.
Just
do
kidding.
That. I wanna be
We're
very
totally
clear.
kidding. Brandon's not here to censor us. so.
We just don't do that here. Oh
Like,
my goodness.
I mean, we
Shelley.
would have a buyer somewhere that would want to go see it. They don't do that? Like, you really can't just go preview at 5 million?
No, you have to have a buyer that's, and this is exactly why somebody like you screwed it up for all these other people with some fake letter that came about, which is why you have to go through, like, so most people who can buy homes that price point, right, usually have gone through an entire, oh my God, this is a great topic. Let's talk about pre-approval versus pre-qualifying.
Let's do it.
No, seriously.
Okay.
So what's the difference between the two? And then tie it all back into high-end listings.
So I mean, I think every lender considers it different because the loans that I have picked up, they start off with what they consider to be a pre-approval, and they get to a week before closing, and all of a sudden that pre-approval is no longer valid. For me, a pre-qualification would be me randomly like talking to you and saying, so tell me how much you make. Tell me what your credit looks like. Tell me how much you want to pay.
So back to stated income days.
But just, you know what I'm saying?
Where I
But-
just tell you I make this much
Exactly.
money and bam, I got a loan.
Right. But for me, when I say you'd qualify for
Yeah.
this amount, that's just like hypothetical. If you wanted to start dreaming, this is what it would look like for you. When I say pre-approval, I've looked at your pay stubs, I've pulled your credit. If you're in the conforming range, I've run what we call our automated underwriting. And I know that the data that I've input into there is accurate. So for me,
It's
that's
not made up. It's not stated. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, my credit score is 790. And
Yeah.
you're like, no, it's not. It's 420.
Exactly. Yeah. You mean minus the 0, carry the 1, subtract the 10. Yeah. So how that relates to jumbo financing, our conforming loans, so anything below 510,000 would follow this automated underwriting process. I have had I've been able to do a few jumbo loans in the last few months, actually, and the process is completely different for me because it's completely investor qualified. Like the investor can look at something and it's very discretionary for them. It's hard for me to like issue just that immediate pre-approval. I can say your income looks great. I can say this looks great. But there could be something that the investor will pick up that may make it difficult for us to proceed as jumbo financing. So a lot of times I get those done first, like ahead of time before we.
Because it takes more time.
It does, yeah, it does.
So I have a client of mine actually who called you about her refinancing her property, and this was back in March or April because she wanted to get a pool put in and whatnot. Well, she's reconsidering because she went jumbo, or she had to do a HELOC.
Yeah, to make up.
To get that pool or to whatever, and so her rate ended up being 5 point something, and I was like, you need to call Shelly back and
Yeah.
refinance because there was a time where jumbo loans just weren't
competitive in rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have an
you for finishing my
investor.
sentence.
Yeah, I could see it right here. We have, that's what makes this great, with or without Brandon.
Yeah.
I don't know, some guy who used to, the reason we have this chair out here. President-elect too busy for us, Brandon. So where was I going with that? Holy crackers. What were we talking about?
We were talking about jumbos not being as competitive.
Oh, so we have an investor now who is actually as competitive as conforming rates for us. Like I was pricing somebody out and they were at 2.875. I was pricing at a 700 loan amount, 740 credit score. But then I was pricing my same borrower who was 499, 740 credit score, same rate. I was
No
like,
way.
wow, yeah, I know it. So I think that there definitely is an opening for jumbo. There's some investors who feel like it's a different quality client. Now, not a stated income. I want to use bank statements, whatever the case may be. It's definitely going to be somebody who's very straightforward with income.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, tax returns and
don't
or
make shit up.
W-2s or
That's what you mean. They don't make shit up.
Yes. Yeah. And it's kind of it's a 2-year dive into their income. But
And most of those people, though, if you think about it, right, and are a little bit creative when it comes to stuff anyway. So
my last jumbo investor, legitimately, or client came with 14 binders of all of his businesses.
Jesus.
I know. Well, first I was like, damn, I'm kind of impressed that because it takes me 10 months from the year before just to get my 1-year tax returns together. Thank you to my CPA. But yeah, organize tabs. And I really asked him, I'm like, do you do this just in general? Or did you do this for me specifically? He's like, this is just how many years do you want? I'm like, no way.
So there was a time where I organized myself and then I started just selling property or businesses and I didn't care anymore.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
and I think it's because of that, right? Because if you have a business, you
can't
have
keep
to
that
be
crap
able
straight otherwise.
Yeah. And then
gotta
you
be
have
able
to have the
reference
records.
back to it. You have to be able to say, okay, that happened. Okay, that was that business, not
Yeah.
this one. Yeah.
But I mean, imagine in a paperless world, we tore down every single one of those binders, put them together so that jumbo underwriter could review it. And I mean, honestly, it was spotless as far as all the stuff that he'd had. But
Yeah.
some lenders would look at that and go, thank you, try again.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but the high end stuff, yeah, even for me, I was like, maybe I could look at a home in the 909,000, because that would then be the same payment as my $400,000 house. No?
No, it's the same interest rate.
Oh, same interest rate. Yes. It's
I'm
different
sorry,
payments.
Is this my job or your job?
Well, could I, as the buyer, go look at one of those homes at McDonald Islands, even if?
As long as you qualify, but I need a legitimate pre-approval letter.
Okay.
I don't even want a pre-qual for you. I want a full-blown
Pre-approval.
pre-approval, and I'm not taking it from you. I'm getting it from someone else. So go ask a friend in the business.
Ask a friend. Does anybody want to take my pre-approval? Do my pre-approval for me.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Because it's time for you to get a new home.
You think?
I think so.
15 years. I think, is my husband watching this? If there
Still
were
just beta.
just beta. Beta, what do we got? 2, 3 viewers? 2.
Yes,
Thank
Shelly's
you for our
also
second.
watching
I'm
herself.
not today. I'm off. Yeah, if we could find a home that was like a 12-car garage, 3-bedroom home, I think we'd be happy.
A 12-car garage?
Yeah, because
3-bedroom.
Yes. Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
Where? Can you find that for me?
Yeah, it's called a custom home. So what you do is you build it from ground up.
Right?
You also buy it for $4.4 million.
Because those big old homes.
that house has. Let's be honest. Let me look this up because I think
That would be my ideal home. So I'll throw that out there as well. If you want to get me a pre-approval letter.
That's only 3-car garage.
See? Right. That's a gigantic mansion.
Goodness gracious.
12 bedrooms?
I'm gonna look and see. No, you said 12-car garage.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I put in 10-car garage? Do you think there's any homes that are currently available for 10-car garages?
I
Why do
searched.
you need so many? I don't understand.
Well, so my husband has 3 vehicles. We have 2 ATVs. We have a snowmobile, which we've probably used once. We no longer own our condo in Bryan Head. I have my 1 vehicle. We have a moped. We have, and Sydney will be driving the end of the year. So, I mean, that's at least 10.
So the moped is hers?
Don't tell her yet. Oh, the secret's out. Sorry. Good thing she doesn't watch the show. She doesn't have Facebook.
So get this. You can actually, there is a home with a 10-car garage. Holy moly, Shelly.
Is it?
Full-blown affordable for you.
What is it? Manufactured home?
It is in an area you don't want to be in. I'm just kidding. I don't know where it is. It's been listed for 237 days, but
237.
it is $450,000. 10-car garage, 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms.
What?
There's also another one with a 12-car. Oh my God. There's a 16-car garage home with a pool
In Las Vegas?
with a pool for $749,000.
Where?
And it's a single story, dude. You and I are about to live in.
Let me just create that pre-approval letter. Hold on a second. Let's go preview the house right now.
Oh, it's like a compound. It's what you've been wanting.
A concubine compound?
It's a concubine
So
compound.
get out. You got to tell me the address, and I'll.
Oh
let's
my
see.
God, where is this place? Holy, and it's
Is
got
it in
water
Pahrump?
near it and nothing else.
It has what?
It's got water near it. It's got a pool, but nothing else.
What do you mean water near
and
it?
you can get horses if you really wanted.
Is it by the wash? Is that what you're talking about? At water?
I got to look up the map. This is a lot. It's in area 810. Don't ask me what that is.
I like it. Okay, hold on. I have this map. Why do you guys use these numbers, by the way? So 810 is not on the Vegas map.
It's in Pahrump. Over the hump. It's only 45 minutes
I mean, okay.
if you worked in, Summerlin.
Right?
Like on that side of
that might be a little
Summerlin.
hard for my
For the commute?
yeah.
Hey, but it's out there, right?
Yeah.
For a hot second, we
Well,
didn't think it was even possible. And
So
now
let's talk
look at
about
us.
Pahrump. What's going on out there that's making, you guys talked about that 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening out there?
So Pahrump has, there's one off Hacienda.
I
849,000.
think she's trying to sell me a house. She's a damn good realtor. Let me
Wait.
just tell you that.
4 bedrooms. No, this one's 6 bedrooms with 4 full baths, 1 3/4 baths, 12-car garage.
What?
12-car garage.
What's that address?
Single story,
For sale.
for sale, 40,500 square foot lot.
Ooh. What's the address? Do you want to give me that?
I don't know if I can.
Or do you want to
I'll
share
give it
that?
to you.
Is it
Ooh, you know who's got it listed? Craig.
Craig Tan?
Yeah.
Craig Tan. Show me that listing. Since
You
this one right next to me will not. I have a great pre-approval letter.
Seriously, Shelly, this is it. I'm going to save this home for you. We're going to go look at it.
Okay.
I know you qualify for that.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
close enough.
That's awesome. Thank you.
All right, so what's happening in Pahrump? There's apparently a lot of construction going on over there. I don't pay attention to Pahrump because it's so far away.
But yeah, you should move there, Shelly, because then I'll never have to see you, and I don't have to make the excuse that I'm quarantining from you.
No,
Sorry.
not even a little. There is a lot of homes that are being built out there. They're actually comparable to homes here, but you've got like that life where, you just chill all the time. It's like a small town life.
So
Small
are they
town life.
gonna?
They also have weed and whorehouses.
They have
and
that here,
a
though, don't they?
winery and they've got all sorts of stuff.
We have a
Yeah,
weed.
winery.
Did you say weed as
Weed.
in?
Yeah,
marijuana?
they sell weed. Weed.
We do that here in Vegas, though, too.
I know, but we
I
don't
mean,
we don't have
the
chicken
brothels.
ranches, brothels.
Yes. No, we do not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be the one thing. I don't know if it'd be well, I'm trying to figure out why Pahrump is growing. Are they going to get
'Cause-
a mall?
Because you can get a 12
Okay,
garage for
For two-
$500,000.
I mean, are Californians going in there saying this is a steal of a deal?
No, because
who's-
it's one of those. It's right now it's a small town, right?
Yeah.
I think it is anyway. It's a small town, and so there are some people that like that lifestyle where they don't want the hustle and bustle of Las Vegas. They don't want to be near the Strip. They don't want to have to deal with clubs and all of that. I don't know.
Do we have clubs open yet? Are we still?
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
They want to be able to drive in and say, hey, I'm
Yeah.
coming in and this is town. But yeah.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, that used to be Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very long time ago.
Very long.
I don't
So
know.
long ago.
I can't do that commute. I think that would be like living in Mesquite. Was
Sorry,
that?
I found you on a Tropicana and
Okay.
Hacienda, so it's close enough.
Great, Tan, hold that listing for me. I'm coming to see it right now after the show.
Sorry, you already have an agent? Stop talking to me. So big news today.
What's that?
The eviction moratorium's been lifted.
Get out. Everybody thought that he was going to extend it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because you got the CDC still.
Dude,
right?
you like that. You get all
know,
excited. You're
I
like,
know.
boom.
So it is right now, we can start evicting for non-payment of rent, which is great. right? Because if you're not paying rent, bye Felicia. But they can also prepare like a declaration. And so the CDC has some guidelines for what their declarations. Here, let me put it in. CDC, I think I sort of gave like a synopsis of it, and I was 100% incorrect. So the form itself, and incorrect in the sense where you need a couple of key things noted in that form, right? Which I think just downloaded. So I'm having you can talk while I'm figuring this out.
So the timeline on evictions was like in the very beginning, you could not do it. You could not talk to your tenants, period, right?
Yep.
And then that lifted when?
That lifted August 1st, you could start having discussions. So end of July, you could start talking to tenants about repayment.
Okay. And then now we are officially saying you should have already gone through some sort of discussions with your landlords and tenants. And if it's not working out, it's time for you're able to.
Right. So you can, in fact, start the eviction process if you haven't got a payment plan together, if the tenant is just ignoring you, whatever. Like I was telling you guys last week, there is actually people that are now, like I talked to one of my landlords yesterday, and he was like, yep, go ahead and start small claims. And so,
Whoa.
like, I'm finding him an attorney to start suing his tenants who haven't paid yet.
So, but he's evicting first and then also, or at the same time.
He's doing both.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing both.
Wow.
So we've already started the eviction process for this one tenant, and we're looking at filing in small claims.
So, and
by we, I mean the landlord.
Yeah. So in his specific situation, how long, like when did they stop paying?
March.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
And you don't know if they were receiving unemployment or any of that stuff, right?
Because we can't ask them. That's the worst part about this whole thing. We cannot ask them for proof of any of this. So even this declaration that I'm going to run through, we can't ask for proof of any of this, but it is under penalty of perjury. So, but I have to prove that they lied.
Wow. So you don't have access to the deeder system or whatever that stuff, or like, no, not until you get into that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be, you guys talked about this as well on that, on the trustee with Ryan Casey, that cash for keys.
Casey Ryan.
Casey Ryan, sorry. Casey Ryan.
He's change his name.
Yeah, but the cash for keys type situation, I think is going to come out, right? Is going to be, or are they just 5-day or?
I mean, if you haven't had rent paid since April 1st, right? And the rent payments are about $1,000 or $2,000, even $2,000. I have to do the math
that's
on
a ton.
I can't do it in
I
my
know.
head. So
Let's
April,
just do
May,
1,000
June,
just to
July,
make it
August,
easy.
September, October, November,
November probably, right?
October. So we're looking at 6 days.
6
6
months.
months. 6 months times 2,000.
So 12.
So 12,000.
Carry the one. Yeah, so 12,000.
You don't do that anymore, Shelly. We don't carry the one anymore.
So $12,000 that this landlord has had to pretty much carry on. And the thought would be that tenant is going to be pretty pissed when they leave the house, right? Because they're not being kindly asked to leave. They're being basically, and so they could trash that home, right?
Yep.
Wow. And that is again.
Also, by the way, vandalism.
Yeah, but how do you prove it?
Well, they were the only ones with access to the home.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So that would be part of so it'd be the rent, late rent, and the, if they decided to vandalize the home.
We couldn't charge late payments until September 1st. So our timelines are all screwed up. So August 1st, we were allowed to start asking for payment plans, right? Let's figure out payment plans, whatnot. September 1st, we were allowed to start charging late fees, a maximum of 5%, right? Mm-hmm. For the entire
5% for a day or
no, the entire month. So but that changed during the last legislative session in 2019.
Okay.
So last year we had a legislative session, and in that legislative session, at the very last day, there was a bill that was introduced and language that was added to it on the very last day, and then voted on without any discussion at all.
Oh, I remember you guys being a little
pissed off about it.
Yeah.
So they added that 5% late fee max for the entire
Max.
month.
What is that going to do on $2,000? 5%?
Yeah.
What is that, Beta? Can you do the math on that for us?
$100.
Thank you, Beta.
Shit. I don't know. I got to do the math.
We suck at math.
We do suck
Can
at
I
math.
tell you I'm an amazing loan officer?
Wait,
We
not
gotta go there. What
5,000.
She just racial profiled. Beta, will you tell on her?
$100. It's $100.
Telling Brandon.
All three of us are Asian. We don't have the minority in the room today. Our minority. Stop it, both of you. Oh my God.
He's cutting us off is what he's doing. I thought he was trying to flex.
Listen, it is not, I don't think that I racially profiled. I think that,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So let's talk about the CDC thing. All right.
Okay.
So hold on, let me back this up for a second. We could start charging late fees 5%. So that's $100 on $2,000. So $2,000 rent.
Yeah.
5% is $100.
So he would have gotten $600 for fees that he can tack on $600 for this $12,000.
No, because it's only September and October.
Oh my God.
Because you couldn't charge late fees for April through August.
So, okay, and I mean, I realize
I'm really involved in this and it confuses the shit out of me. So imagine someone who hasn't really been like a part of or doesn't care or has been evicted since May.
It doesn't know.
It just keeps filing.
Yes.
That's not funny.
I know, it's not funny.
But also kind of funny, right?
Yes.
So
sad,
now
actually.
with that 5%, there's still some tenant or some landlords that are charging tenants who don't know, who aren't, have no idea. They're still charging tenants like $20 a day for late fee, right? Now, with the 5%, it doesn't matter when the tenant pays. That's the maximum I'm allowed to charge them. So if they pay on the 5th or they pay on the 20th, it's 5% total.
So it doesn't matter what's on the lease agreement at all, right?
5%.
Wow.
So lease agreements that came up for renewal, we made that change because the argument, our attorney was like, well, the argument could be that if they pay based off of what the lease agreement says and it's no longer Nevada law. So Nevada law will always trump what your agreement says. So your agreement can say whatever the hell it is, but Nevada law will trump, right?
Well, what would happen?
Nevada law changed last year.
I mean, mom and pops don't know. Like, I am a landlord. I don't.
That's why you hire a property manager.
I mean,
Who knows
okay.
what the hell they're doing?
Yeah.
I just want to point out.
Okay, so you're going to buy me a house and you're going to pay on my,
That's going to be the
with
title
my
of the
rentals.
show. I just want to point out.
What is that?
I know what the hell I'm doing.
The hammer knows what she's doing. Okay, so I'm a mom and pop, or let's say you're a landlord. Like, because he's able to file for forbearance, right? Did he take advantage of the forbearance?
Yeah, but he has to pay a fee on that.
Yeah, and he has to pay it back.
He has to pay interest.
Yeah.
And he has to pay it back.
Yeah.
It's not free money
Correct.
for him, just like it's not free money for the tenant.
Yeah, that's a bad situation there. So that's good for our landlords, right?
Yeah. That they can start evicting, but they can't really get a tenant out until January? Sure. Ready?
Wait.
Yeah.
Well, what if they do the form? Are you going to go through the...
I'm going to go through the form.
Okay,
but here's
let's do
the
it.
other thing, is during this legislative session that happened this year, the special session, we talked about this in a couple of shows before.
Yeah.
Like, I think 4 or 5 shows before. I don't know how many we've done so far, but whatever, halfway point. Whatever it was from the beginning.
Yes, I got it.
Thank you. Not that this is the halfway point. Not that we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
know.
done
I'm
another-
like,
okay.
and now that
So-
concludes our show for the whole...
So, I forgot what the fudge I was saying.
You were talking about the evictions and the form and
Yeah.
forbearances. We went through that.
Oh, SB1 was passed during the special session.
Yes,
So
special
SB1
session.
now requires, so special session was in July-ish or whatever. During that special session, we are now required to have a mediation with landlords and tenants before eviction. And it's a 30-day. So I evict you. You now have to go through mediation with me to figure out a payment plan for 30 days. We don't come to an agreement, the eviction process starts. So if I evict somebody, starts. So if I start evicting somebody now, right, we are also on 4-day work weeks for the court system.
Wow.
So not 5 anymore. You start eviction process, you go through whatever your number, 120,000. Once you get to your number, right, you're looking maybe mid-November to end of November, maybe early December. Courts close down for the holidays.
What?
You've got,
Gosh.
yeah. So you could very realistically not have somebody out of the property until January, February.
So your landlord.
Here's the other thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, your landlord then has November, December to pay for while that tenant sits pretty and waits for.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what will likely happen is that a lot of the tenants will just move and not give forwarding addresses, and you won't be able to find them, and then they're gone. How are you going to get money from them? They still owe this money, but how are you going to get money for them?
What would that be, like a collection that you guys would place on there?
So again, you can file in small claims. You could put them through collection. You can, right? But it's at the expense of the landlord who's already suffered all this loss.
Yeah, who has to pay for then?
Who couldn't sell their home because a tenant was in it until recently.
Yeah, right.
Who couldn't, right? I mean, they could sell it, but they couldn't, if the tenant didn't agree to let anybody in, it would be as is. Nobody could look at it. Nobody could get into it. It's a pretty hot mess.
And yet, so everybody was looking forward to it happening today, thinking that it was going to be extended.
September, because if it happened in September, we could have gotten somebody out by November.
Oh, just based on the time. Well, I mean, if I remember correctly, you had said it was like 200,000.
294,000.
Yeah.
People were gonna be
So
affected.
assuming even 50% of them have to go through this mediation process, I mean, are the court systems?
Like, I thought that number was massive.
Yeah.
But that's the number that everybody's using, and that's why they extend it again. That's why they did SB1. That's why they have the source of income ordinance. That it's because of numbers, and and so I still have to figure out if that 294,000 is people or homes, because that makes a difference, right?
Yeah. Well, no. How does that make any?
Okay, so
tenants or home?
You and I live together,
Yeah.
so two of us get
because
evicted,
we're both on the lease.
but it's
Got it.
only one eviction.
I gotcha. Yeah. Got it.
Right.
So how would you find that out?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's somewhere, somehow, but somebody did something and put it
Even
somewhere.
still, even if it was 50%, it's still a lot.
Yeah.
Even if it were 50%
Over
of that.
100,000,
Yeah. It's still going to be
Yeah.
a lot to get through. Yeah.
Yeah. So the CDC guidelines, which I was going to start 30 minutes
Sorry.
ago. No, you're fine. Not your
We're good on
fault at all.
time.
So I certify under penalty and perjury pursuant to 28 USC section 1746 that the foregoing are true and correct. 1, I have used best efforts to obtain all available government assistance for rent or housing. But I don't have to, as a tenant, I don't have to prove that I have. I just have to sign off saying that I have. Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, I either expect to earn no more than $99,000 in annual income for calendar year 2020 or no more than $198,000 if filing a joint tax return. Was not required to report any income in 2019 to the U.S. Internal Revenue Service or received an economic impact payment stimulus check pursuant to Section 2201 of the CARES Act. Okay, so that's 2.
Okay.
So how many people make $99,000 a year on average in the country?
Less. How many make over that amount?
Well, I guess that's a really horrible question to ask. So
Yeah.
on average, most people make 30,000.
Yeah,
you
I would
think?
say, yeah,
On
closer
average,
in your
like for the
30 to
country?
50, yeah.
So 99,000 in income, that's a lot of freaking money.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, could you survive on 99,000 and still pay mortgage and still be able to
Yeah, I
Right?
would hope so. Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have survived with
It's like
less.
$8,000 a month.
But if you
I
make
did my
less
math
than
right.
99,000, you qualify
Qualify for.
for the CDC's directive that says you don't have
So
to leave.
pretty much
That's the second
majority.
That's the second criteria. The third, I am unable to pay my full rent or make a full housing payment due to substantial loss of household income, loss of compensable hours of work or wages, layoffs, or extraordinary out-of-pocket medical expenses. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, I'm using best efforts to make timely partial payments that are as close to the full payment as the individual's circumstances may permit, taking into account other non-discretionary expenses. What was that, 5? I lost count.
Yeah.
If evicted, I would likely become homeless, need to move into a homeless shelter, or need to move into a new residence shared by other people who live in close quarters because I have no other available housing options. I understand that I must still pay rent or make a housing payment and comply with other obligations that I may have under my tenancy, lease agreement, or similar contract. I further understand that fees, penalties, or interest for not paying rent or making a housing payment on time are as required by my tenancy, lease agreement, or similar contract may still be charged or collected. And last but not least, I further understand that at the end of this temporary halt on evictions on December 31st, 2020, my housing provider may require payment in full for all payments not made prior to and during the temporary halt, and failure to pay may make me subject to eviction pursuant to state and local laws.
May.
Surprise!
Wow. Wow. So this gets served to them, or is this
No.
they apply for?
So we've heard of circumstances where tenants have been evicted and they have this declaration, they download it, they sign it, they date it. By the way, they don't have to do this. They could do it on a piece of paper. They could do anything, right? They could put on a
Basically covering
napkin,
those.
They could just covering these 8 items, and they could submit that at lockout, right? So you've been evicted, you got a lockout. The
Marshal's
constable
here,
shows
yeah.
up, right? Or
Yeah.
marshal shows up to do the lockout, and the guy's there for changing locks and whatnot. Tenant hands the declaration, everybody leaves.
Wow. Okay. So really, like, first of the year. So that gives them until December, end of December.
Yeah.
Okay. So really, this has the main thing that this has done is to allow the landlords to start the process. But the reality of it is this is not they're not gonna see an end to this until beginning of 2021,
Possibly.
right? I mean, unless that got extended.
Who knows?
Jeez.
I mean, we don't know what's going to
I'm
happen.
just very grateful
These
that
are
my
unprecedented times. Everybody
Yeah.
take a shot.
shot.
Right.
Sorry, Beta woke up. Oh my God, look at that.
Well, and so that's like every Zoom call. Anytime somebody says unprecedented, I'm like, God damn it, I have to go get tequila.
Oh my God. You're what is
like
that called? Pavlo. Pavlo.
Pablo? What's that?
Well, you know, like they train you based on like the dog that learned how to eat based on him signaling
yeah.
Pavlo, right? So the word comes out, you're like, shots
Yeah, that's what it feels like every time.
every time. That's
So-
actually really sad because I think about myself as I'm not a big time. Our past homes that we owned as our primary residences ended up being rentals. And when it first happened, I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, please, I pray that she makes her payment. She split them, which scared me. She made one
On
10
the
days.
first and one like on the
10 days late, actually. So we were like, hey, just checking in. I want to make sure everything's okay. She sends in her first half of it. And then I'm like, hey, thank you so much for the. And then I was like, just checking in on the other half of it. And she sent it in like another 2 weeks later. And now she's been, and which I'm okay with. Every 2 weeks is totally fine with me if it's a half a payment. But thinking about that, like, what would I do if both of my tenants just decided not to pay? I mean, outside of being angry, right? Because if you're saying I couldn't even really, I'm trying to refinance those homes and I don't want to get anybody, I can't even get an
But
appraisal
you got
inside.
quick, girl.
Right? I can't even get I didn't want to, because I was so afraid of all this tenant crap. Like, hey, can you open up your door so you can get an appraiser in there? So I basically held off on that. So
You didn't get an appraisal waiver?
I did not. My income's not high enough. Sorry. Yeah, that's sad.
good.
That's so sad.
So yeah, things that make you
Go,
like.
So what would be really the best practice for a landlord in this, or best case situation for them? I mean, consulting with a realtor doesn't, it's really going to be getting with an
'cause
attorney.
so unless we're your property manager, we're not supposed to be advising you because there's a contract between you and a
Yeah.
tenant, and, right? And I would say go hire an attorney and see what your options are. There are a few options. We talked about it with Haiti last week as well.
Yeah.
What your options could be. I just feel like, and it's funny because every time I teach a class, this becomes like a good portion of our topic, right, for that class. And even though it's not meant to be, right, it just weaves in like this is what's happening because this is what's going on in our market. But how does it affect our whole market? And we've talked about this several times on the show. Is that now that we can start showing tenant occupied properties with tenants' permission, there's also guidelines for that, right? But now that we can start showing tenant-occupied properties, hopefully our market will change and we'll get a couple more homes on the market.
So the numbers that
Which
you
will
gave
calm down.
for listings, that does not include tenant
Yeah,
occupied?
it does.
Oh, it does. Okay, so that number's not going to increase. Like we're going to have more inventory, so to speak.
We may. So, I had a
Oh, just
conversation yesterday with someone. They said, hey, what do you think about all of these people who are expecting the market to change and decrease by, pricing by 7%? And I said, look, we've had a shortage of inventory. We've had a shortage of inventory because we haven't had all of these tenant occupied properties. We haven't been able to show them, right? And so because we had a shortage of inventory and we had this high demand, our prices went up anyway. So if we go down by 7%, could that 7% be looked at as maybe a correction? Possibly. Like, I don't think it's not going to be like a woof.
Yeah.
You know?
Not like it. Yeah. I think that's what everybody's expecting, right? They're thinking 20 plus decrease in values. But you're right. Because I think you gave us numbers on like what our increase was from year over year. Just in the short 6 months, it was like, what, 18%?
Yeah.
Right? Year over year.
Yeah.
So you take the 7% correction out of there. That's like a normal market, right?
Market.
Right.
Yeah.
And then do you remember what days on market was, or how much inventory we had a year
Are we
ago?
still on stats?
Beta, where are we at, Beta? Beta's like, I cut you guys off like at 9:30.
The show's been over. I don't know what you guys are still talking about, but okay. All right, tell me your answer. To ask me your question.
The question was, what was the inventory like a year ago? Do you remember? Do you have that info? We don't have that. Let me see if I have it. I think
it'll be in there for sure.
It will.
Yep. I mean, I could look it up, but
you're right.
You've
Units
got it.
sold. Okay, so.
But remember, last year we had a crazy market too. Remember?
What was member? No, I don't remember.
That's the name of the show.
Member. Remember?
Remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I do remember last year, like, is this the time for me to sell my house? But clearly this is the time because I got a 10-car garage waiting for me on Hacienda Road.
Actually, 12.
12-car garage.
Yeah.
Got it.
On Tropicana and Hacienda.
Tropicana. Oh, that's kind of in the Henderson-ish area.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
could be neighbors with, what's his nuts? Oh,
Hammermeyer. Dr. Hamrick or Hamrick? You're Hammer. Are we talking about the same guy?
No.
Oh.
But I'd like to
Shaq?
hear.
Do you remember the
Check, please.
He has like the crazy, like he had the oh my gosh, what is that? The rocket in the backyard. Dr. Hammerich.
There's somebody who has a rocket in the backyard.
It's like he's like known for this whole crazy.
Hey, don't call people crazy.
I mean, no, the backyard was his stuff that he had in the backyard. There was and I remember driving by there a few times, but.
You've seen this rocket?
I mean, you can see, you just drive by the street and it's like a NASA type or NASA, rocket. Oh my gosh, I'm aging myself. It was many years ago, but I said age, not Asian myself, just to be clear.
Okay, so have you seen that upside down house or the below ground home?
No.
There's like palm trees underneath the actual
No, is that in Vegas?
It's in Vegas.
Can we go see that? How much is it?
How many car garages does it have?
Exactly. I got a pre-approval letter.
It was on sale like a couple of years ago. I do not remember like the address of it, but it's over by in that little area.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, how's that even?
You're going to buy your house?
Where I'm making an offer on after, oh my gosh, we got 10 minutes left. In 10 minutes, Craig Tan, my offer's coming to you in 10 minutes or less. 12 minutes. How long does it take for you to write an offer?
I don't.
You don't do them? Freaky fast.
Freaky fast.
Vandana does freaky fast.
It'll take you longer to get your pre-approval. Your approval letter.
For sure.
This rocket in the backyard, and then I'll find you that house that's underground.
Okay.
Underground home in Las Vegas, and it's got like legit palm trees underneath the floor, like underneath the ground. It's crazy.
You see the roots of it, or you see the actual
palm? The actual palm tree. The entire freaking palm tree is underneath. It's crazy.
I mean,
it's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm really a bad green. I don't have a green thumb, so I'd probably kill them.
It's palm trees. You don't. I mean, you just.
I don't know.
They're automatically watered.
They are?
You have an irrigation system.
Okay. Listen, I am the girl that for 15 years watered a fake plant. So I think you're talking in the wrong.
You did what?
So totally not real estate driven. But for those of you who want to learn to love and adore me, this is my story. We got a plant because I'm not good with plants. We got a plant. And for years, my husband and I always watered it thinking, damn, we are amazing. This plant must be like one of these great like plants you can keep in your house. So I had shared with the person who gave it to me. I'm like, you know what? I don't know what kind of plant this is, but I am so grateful that you gave it to us because we feel like we've got green thumbs. And she's like, what are you talking about? Pull out the plant. And she's like laughing her head off.
Yeah, like me.
She's like, is there not a price tag on the bottom of that vase? I'm like, what? She's like, that is a fake plant.
You have like a succulent.
That's yes.
It's like one of those desert plants.
That's what I thought it was. So no, I mean, no joke. Because like there were some times when I'm like, oh look, the leaf fell. So I'm like, oh, and I legitimately, Rich will vouch for me.
Did you stick it back into the little?
No,
hole,
I just
like
assumed. So I can't even imagine how much algae is inside of the pot. But yes, so you're talking to the wrong person. Yeah. So don't buy me trees or green anything because I can barely keep a fake plant alive.
Dude, you are one hell of a woman. I mean, you can't cook.
I can't. I know. Don't say this live because my husband will then realize that.
Like, he knows you can't cook. He's been married to you.
I make an amazing reservation. I can't keep plants alive.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. Anyways, so talk about rates.
Back to ROTS. I mean, nothing real exciting happening with rates, although, there's some concern around the elections and what that's going to do for, I think, the economy at whole. Stock market's been rallying, so we've seen a little bit of movement in the rates, but like an eighth. So nothing even
up or down?
Up.
Okay. Nothing
to really like write home about, right? And it's actually come back down. So the beginning of the week it was up, came back down. So I would just say this. I mean, we talk about it a lot. I don't know I think rates are going to stay low, but for us, for people who are refinancing today, they're below 3%, purchasing below 3%. And for those who are looking at refinance opportunities as well, and you're in like the 4s, if we happen to tick over the 3s, it may not make sense for you to do. So jump on the bandwagon today while you can. And then on the purchase standpoint, legitimately, if I were to look to move up, my rate, I'm probably the last one to refinance. My rate is like 5.25%, and literally the payment would be the same if I increase my sales price by like $200,000.
Wow, we need to get you into a home.
Seriously.
Are you just afraid of moving?
No, I have a husband who, I would say yes. I have a lot of stuff over 15 years that we would have to figure out how to displace.
I mean, it might be time.
You think so?
To clean
our lives?
Do you know the entire country, the entire world purged during this time? What did you do?
I worked.
You haven't been drinking more wine, that's for
I
sure.
have not been, but I have been saving up my wine. Did they really purge?
A lot of people purged.
Really?
I purged.
I mean, yeah, you did a full reno. I would love to be able to do that. We did. I would say we definitely got, we have a new.
Ooh, can I come help you?
Office, yes, if you would like to. If you could talk to my husband about every little thing that we would be purging. That would probably be the hardest piece, though, because 15 years is a long time, right? I mean, yeah. Sydney stuff when she was a baby and all the, I
can't get rid of her teeth that the tooth fairy took.
Good thing she's not listening. What are you talking about?
Tooth fairy?
Yes. She still believes in,
No, she doesn't.
Jolly, yes. Really? So this is not real estate exposed. This is Shelly exposed. Anyways, yeah. So I think that's the hard part, right? Although I have a great story because I bought in the height of the market in 2004. And, I was torn between strategic default or not, right? I mean, I had easily could do that. And we kept at it. We kept our payment, obviously. We never refinanced or did any of that stuff. And today my house is worth more than it was when we first bought it. And we paid down the balance, and I have great equity in it. I just refinanced my home. And now, if we do decide to move, it'll be an amazing rental for somebody.
Yeah.
That's dirt cheap. So now I look at it as...
Can I renovate it?
Do you think it needs to be renovated before I rent it?
I mean...
Yeah?
It's been 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
It's time for a reno.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
You do?
I do.
Really?
I'm so stoked. I'm so excited.
When you do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we should flip. We really need to get with Casey Ryan.
Yeah.
To teach us how to.
I can't make his math work. I will tell you.
I will tell you too. His 0.85% was probably the easiest for me to understand, but his whole spreadsheet analysis was like, he's obviously very analytical. He's very smart.
He is very smart. He's an engineering major. But I think one of the things that is important to remember is that our market is different, right? I think it'll be easier to be able to do something like that when it's not such a seller's market. Like I I was potentially going to do that last week with a home. We talked about it, and I was like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I did the math. I figured it out. I said, here's what the offer's like. And the agent came back and said, we're going to put it in the market and see what happens, because the numbers just don't match. Like, they don't make sense when you do it right now, knowing that a seller could potentially get this much, right? So I said to her, I was like, well, if it doesn't work out and you don't get at least this much on what I offered, call me back and I'll do it.
So let me ask you a hypothetical. So let's say you have a owner who doesn't want to have people come in and sell the home, come in and see the home, but she needs to sell it to purchase to move on to a new home. She would rather just give it away to like iBuyer, Zillow, or Open Door, or whatever the case is. And you could potentially see that it has a huge upside to selling if she would, obviously it's a good price range, good location. How would you work through that so that you could get it sold for her, but not necessarily take it through Zillow or?
So anytime somebody wants to do that, they're not going to get like top dollar for the home, right? Because there's going to be costs for renovation and relisting and dealing with, there's going to be fees. So even if they go through any of the other, like Open Door, Zillow, whatever, like I was talking to Val not too long ago, and she was telling me that a lot of these companies charge 9% on top of, which is like, why wouldn't you just pay me the commission of less than that?
Right.
Or I'll take that. And
or just that.
Or just that.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
But she specifically is doing it for the purposes of not wanting to have anybody come in her home. She feels like I can exit this home. Nobody has to come in. So my question is...
So we've got investors that'll do it.
Yeah.
There's definitely people who will buy it. You and I will buy it and renovate it. And
can you do that on your own listing, though?
It wouldn't be my own listing.
Oh, you'd have it listed by somebody else?
We wouldn't list it. We would just buy it. We would just
Okay.
We would just outright buy it and say we're not going to list it. That wouldn't make sense.
Got it.
We buy it as an indivial. Of course,
as like a for sale by owner?
We're agents, yeah.
Got it.
We have all these other disclosures and blah, 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 but yeah.
Because I was thinking of that with Ryan Casey Ryan. Gosh, 2 first names make it really hard. Casey Ryan, that's, like how did he get started? Did he just find these homes that, because he's an agent, obviously, right? And then a seller's just like, I don't want to have it open to open market, or I just want to liquidate it and just, what's the best offer? And they throw down a number and you're like, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, could you really do something like that as an agent? Yeah. So.
Yep. 100%.
Cool.
Anyways, but I think that's our show. What do you think?
Beta! We made it!
Did we do it? We did it without Brandon, totally successfully, without a problem. But with that, we can be found just about anywhere that you hear podcasts on, and then obviously on facebook.com/realestatex is where you can find us.
We are streamed on the podcast sites, right?
That's what I just said.
I know. I don't even remember what they're called. And YouTube.
Like iTunes and
YouTube
and the other places.
And our normal, we'll have to get that down since we're replacing Brandon. Our normal time frame would be 9:30, right? Yeah. We just came in here for the guy who didn't show up to the, to the
we did it early today, so that he could be with us, and then he was like, sorry.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Brandon?
Yeah.
Do we do okay? All right, he's not here.
All right. That's going to be the name of the show. What do you think about that, Brandon?
What do you think? I like the other one. What was the other topic? The other one?
I don't know. He'll watch
Vandana knows everything.
I know everything.
Yeah. No, that one is legit.
I know what I'm doing.
You know what you're doing. You do know what you're doing. I think you're an amazing realtor.
What do you think about that, Brandon?
Beta's giving us a sign. Right. Beta, how did we do? We did all right?
Get the music rolling. Hurry up before we start talking again. You got it? You got it? You got it?
Are we off?